What's up, guys? And today, welcome to YouTube Reviews, a new series where I'm going to be doing some YouTube series reviews. This one is episode 1. Here is the Sodor Fallout fan movie. And yes, I contacted him for this one. So, let's begin.
Oh my god. Come on, we can make it! Yup, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Okay, to be honest, the beginning is a little cliche since they literally do that in most movies sometimes. But on the other hand, it's just so spine-chilling. The beginning just lets you off with a little spoiler. I mean, despite everything you know about it, but it is no excuse for such a cliche intro. Sorry, Daniel. The movie starts off with the power plant being built and engines working around it. Edward thinks it's gonna be an eyesore, but when his driver explained that they have more work to do because of it, Edward was fine with it, at least until it exploded, or should I say, collapsed to the ground. So they rushed all the way to Nafford to get out of there. But here's the thing, when Daniel first filmed this movie, he probably thought Donald got mutated as he crashed. Really, all he did, he just exploded when he got to Brandon Docks. Actually, when I first saw it, I thought the same thing. But for the rest of the movie, it was pretty good. Don't lie. There were timeline mix-ups though, which kinda makes me frustrated. But yet, I don't really care. It's a fan-made movie. He can do whatever he wants. My favorite scene was when James went down the sodor and got mutated. Especially for its music. It's literally Lightning McQueen's music when he gets lost. And it's literally Mike Wazowski's scream as he was getting mutated, which I really enjoyed. Thanks. I hope you do more of those. Here's a fun fact that Danielle let out. Percy had a bad coupling, so he had to take the couplings to Annie as they ran away from the beast. There was a deleted scene for it, where it just shows Gordon's face, because there are two reasons why it was deleted. First off, the creator of Sodor Fallout, Tim Thunderbolt, had made changes to Gordon's face, so Danielle had to change it. Plus the audio was very loud as hell, which I really did not like. I'm so glad they didn't add that part then. Also, I just love the beast's roar. It's literally Jurassic Park's dinosaur roar. At least they don't have to hear half-life zombie groans or whatever. Besides, that's getting a little annoying. Doug's death scene was just brilliant. Yeah, despite Doug not having side rods and everything, I especially enjoyed the scene. There was one part of the scene that wasn't canon to the actual story. Yeah, apparently in this entire Sodor Fallout fan movie, apparently the beast can stretch his face to grab its victims. I can see why they couldn't have the legs really come out, because who's gonna hold Oliver up and then edit the legs? I mean, they kinda went back and fixed that in the second one, but we'll get to that later. The Bill and Ben scene was just okay, I'm not gonna lie, it was fine. But when the trailer scene came out, apparently the most non-canon thing I really didn't like was that Bill and Ben just killed Boko by setting their sheds on fire. I can see why they didn't add that. The last few minutes of the scene were just Henry and Edward, which is canon to the story. By the way, Gordon's scream has changed during that flashback with Henry. It was frustrating because it was a cliffhanger for like about 4 months until the second part released. Plus there were a couple copyrighted music, which I'm pretty sure weren't allowed from YouTube. By the way, it was the greatest part. How will I rate it? I don't know. I'd probably go about 9.1 out of 10. I liked it, but there were some cliche things I really didn't like. So, yeah. Next film I want to talk about is the part 2 of the Sodor Fallout fan movie. I didn't really like it because of the quiet audio, especially the pre-recorded audio files from the actors and the actresses. Some scenes were just plain quiet. Like, I couldn't even hear most of the dialogue. But I'm stalling. How is the beginning good? The beginning starts with a nuclear warning that should have been put in the beginning, but who cares? I just like how the beast just intrudes the entire place right during the recording. The starting of the movie is Henry and Edward fighting Percy instead of literally having Oliver kill Frederick last night. Start off. That was kind of frustrating. That was a really cool scene too. Why is that not there anymore? I like Henry's flashback, but there's a continuity error I didn't even realize. How did Edward not notice Henry as Edward drove right past him during that explosion? He would have already knew what happened to him. The next scene shows them parking into a siding, because that's obviously where you park a train. And that night when they were sleeping, the beast creeps up behind them and takes Scruffy away. Well, actually, before the beast took him, it shows a flashback of how the beast was created, which I really enjoyed. It even shows Toad's death. That's 100% a one-way ticket to success. We wanted to know what happened to Toad, and that's just a great example. The beast truck naps Scruffy. Truck nap. I should use that one. I gotta write that one down. Scruffy gets truck napped last night, and Edward and Henry split up. 2 days later, Edward found Toby in a shed, mumbling to himself. Toby's backstory was just amazing. Just wonderful. 10 out of 10 for this scene. And yes, I know he wasn't mumbling to himself, because I was gonna say this part. At least he saw a fire face. Did I mention that there's new actors now? I mean, some of the voices have changed, like Thomas, James, and even Donald. So the next scene was definitely my favorite in this entire part 2 film. Thomas comes out of his shed and creeps up right behind Edward. He tells her what happened at Tim's sheds at that time. Apparently Toad was there too. He couldn't leave the sheds because he ran out of coal and had no steam on him. The trucks were mutating, and now they can move on their own. And then they jammed the turntable. Thomas had enough steam though to creep up right back into the sheds. Oliver picked up Toad, and Douglas fixed the mess at the turntable. Probably the most creepiest mutated troublesome truck was definitely that blue van. And like Edward said,
damn it, that van gives me the creeps.
Yeah, so the movie continues anyways. Toby and Edward drive through the countryside. They got to the part where they had to choose which way to go. And suddenly, the alarm goes off, like another power plant exploded.
What the? Not again! Son of a Edward! Shh!
Edward was so frustrated about this because he didn't want to risk another escape again. But it was a false alarm test. Thomas soon meets up with the gang and brings their Topham hat to their destination. If at that point, some of the Legos that you see aren't actually based off the real characters. So last night in the sheds, Sir Topham Hat explains how he escaped the blast, especially from James's incident. But driving your car wouldn't escape the blast. You would have been automatically dead at that point. But why? I don't even know why. So the next morning, Toby starts having a panic attack with Fireface and he has to argue and deal with Fireface's suicidal message. Toby soon commits suicide afterwards, and that's when Daisy and Mavis come by pulling the train at that right moment too. Wrong timing, girls. The quarry massacre scene was just amazing. It's like watching a Walking Dead episode. Instead of the mutants screaming for help, they're actually like zombies and try to attack Mavis and Daisy. Again, it's like watching The Walking Dead. Awesome. Now, the rest of the movie was just amazing. I can't tell you how much I love this film. Probably a little better than the first one, but I think the first one was a lot better though. I don't know, they're both really great. It ends off with a cliffhanger again, and that marks the end of the video. But don't forget, part 3 is coming out, so we got a while. So, I'll see you later. Peace.